Hi, Ann Kornick. I'm with the Michigan World Organization of China Painters. I'm their president, and I'm here because we're looking for members, and we're always looking for members. And if you've ever considered painting as a hobby, China painting is a perfect uh, art form to learn. It's as simple as any of the others. And I think it's probably one of the more beautiful art forms. I mean, let me just give you some examples. Here's something that I recently painted. It's these are snowberries, and it's a little candle holder with a snuffer. So it's a practical gift, but at the same time, it's something I painted, so it makes it very special. You can paint, here, salt and pepper shakers that I just did. Aren't they pretty? Little salt and pepper shakers. Or if you prefer, and you're a painter who paints and frames your work, you can do that with China paint too. We have tiles of various sizes, and you can get them framed. And this is my little squirrel that I framed, and I just love them, and I use them all the time. So it's not just teacups and plates, like a lot of people think it is, although it's easier to learn on a flat piece. So I'm going to do a series on this channel, and I just want you to be able to see some of the items involved in China painting, and then we'll start going through how you use them. We have clubs in 6 different locations within the Michigan area. We're mainly in Southeast Michigan, but we have one in Lansing area. We also have one in Flint. There's one in Auburn Hills, Berkeley, Dearborn, Marysville, and I said Flint, Auburn Hills, Marysville, and Berkeley. I think I said Berkeley. Okay, so that's where we have locations where if you want to join the groups, and you already have the painting supplies, they usually, when we have a group meeting, we have a business meeting first, and then after that, we break into kind of a painting exercise of some sort. So you may learn to paint from one of the teachers there. We have a teachers group that you can come to that does projects every month in Auburn Hills. And then each of these groups also have people within them who can show you how to use your paints and help you with projects. So don't feel that just because there's no teacher in your area, you can't paint. The other thing is, if you're out of state or out, north or west in Michigan, you can also learn how to China paint by going on YouTube and simply putting in China painting or porcelain painting. And there's a number of videos there that you can use that can start you out in China painting and take you all the way through your very first piece and other pieces as well. Okay, so what do we use in China painting? So if you're interested, this is how you paint. I think people don't realize all the things that are involved. First of all, you need a palette to keep your paints on. Now, this is my very first palette. You can tell because it's kind of beat up. It has a cover with these little handles on it, and then I put my paints on it, and it has a glass that I store my paints on so that I can cover it up and, keep it from getting dusty and also keep it from drying out. But you can use anything. If you have even something as simple as just a piece of plastic, here, this is one of those overheads, if you have overhead plastics. And if you just cut it to the size of a box with the lid, you could put your paint on that in the bottom of the box and put the lid on it, and it would act as a palette for you. Now, there are also smaller palettes. There are 2 places that carry supplies for Michigan on a regular basis. Well, yeah, 2. One is DallasChina.com, and the other one is Maryland, Maryland, China.com. And this is my small palette. This is how the inside looks. And then I have a cover for it as well. And this is like not very big, 5 by 8 or something. It's a very small palette. When I go and teach, or when I go and take classes, I usually, if I know the colors ahead of time, I take my small palette. Otherwise, I take my large palette. Alrighty, so you'll need brushes. We'll talk about brushes coming up. I have a variety of sizes. You need everything from a big fat brush, which we call a number 10. Sometimes it's a 16, all the way down to a very, very fine brush. So we'll talk about brushes at an upcoming live, so you get a chance to find out about them. You also need a palette knife. Now, a palette knife is used to mix our paints. Let me find one here. Here we go. I have a little one. You might have a big one, but we use it to mix our paints, so that's valuable to have on hand. You're going to need paint, of course. Now, it's special paint for China. I have here a couple of samples. Most of these are older, and you can buy them, again, from Dallas or Maryland, China, or if you've inherited China paints, go through them. They're still good. China paints do not disappear and get old. They're always good. You can use the powder as long as it's not pre-mixed and hard. Generally, you mix the powder with mineral oil. So it's a simple thing to mix up. And what you need, if you're looking through your paints and you're saying, well, I don't know if I have the right things, you need basically a light and a dark of each color. Think of China paints kind of like stained glass. Each layer that you put on is relatively thin, but it's changed by the next layer that you put over it. So if you have a yellow layer on and you add a little blue to it, it may become a little bit green, but the parts that aren't on the yellow would become a little bit blue. And sometimes it generally takes 2 to 3 fires to really get the depth that you want in a piece. This took 3 fires, okay? To give you an idea. So you can get quite a bit of depth, but you don't try to do it all on the first fire. You layer your paints. Alrighty, I'll show you how to mix paints on an upcoming video too. Now you would need a tile. Doesn't have to be a big one. This is a 6x6. I got it at the hardware store. You just need something that you mix your paints on this. So you do need a tile, and you need a lint-free paper towel. And I fold it. You can see here, I fold it in half and then in half again. And I use that to dab my brush on to take off the oil or take off the turpentine when I have too much on my brush or I'm changing colors. Now, I like Viva, and if you have Viva available to you, then that's the way to go because it's a nice lint-free one. There's also shop rags that you can buy at auto places. They're blue and they're made out of paper because you're going to get rid of these. So, because we use oil and it really doesn't wash out of things very well. Okay, you're going to need mineral oil to mix your paints. You can paint with mineral oil as well, but it's very oily. And for a beginner, it's gonna make you feel that you tend to paint kind of oily to begin with. So you don't really want to have more than one. You don't want to paint with mineral oil. Mineral oil is going to make your paint a lot more drippy. You can paint with it, and I think the people who grew up with it will say, oh, I love it, and I can paint with it really easily. But I went to a teacher for years, and all we did was paint with mineral oil, so if that's what you want to do, you can. However, we'll talk about oils in another session, but there are drying oils, semi-drying, and open oils. And there are also many varieties of things to clean your brushes with, and some of them have smells, and some of them don't. So just decide what you want to use, and then you'll need an oil to paint with, and you'll need something to clean your brushes with. And of course, you'll need china to paint on. Now, this is a nice piece of Bavarian china that I have. It's blank, it's white, it's never been eaten off of. I used to buy it at Pier 1. I don't think Pier 1's there anymore. IKEA has some china. And theirs has their insignia on the back in black. You can use white china. Now, it has to be porcelain like this. See the shine? You don't want to get the other kind, the duller kind of china. And if you go to Maryland, China, if you don't have any, you can get little boxes, you can get piggy banks, you can get salt and pepper shakers, candlesticks, whatever you want to paint. But just so you know, a couple of the things that you have. We're looking for members. I hope you will consider the Michigan Organization of China Painters. If you're in the area, or if you've inherited paints and don't know what to do with them, we do have teachers at various locations. But again, you can come to the clubs, and I'm sure they will be happy to get you going. Now, the other thing you need for China painting is a kiln. Sometimes that's a problem for beginners. I have a very small one. We're fortunate because we do have a kiln retailer in the area. They're out in Clio, Michigan, C-L-I-O, Michigan. They're called Runyans, R-U-N-Y-A-N''S. And they do sell kilns. I have a little one. I have an even heat, and we'll look at it in an upcoming segment. And it holds about a 10-inch. This is about the biggest plate, about a 10-inch plate. That's the biggest plate I can put into it. It fires for 45 minutes on high, and it's done. So for me, that's perfect. If you don't want to go out and buy a kiln, and I don't blame you if you don't, you may find a teacher or a club where there's a member who will fire for you. And usually they'll charge you a minimal fee for that. So don't let that stop you from using those paints. I hope this has been helpful. If you want to watch upcoming episodes, please feel free to, there's a little bell at the top or 3 dots, and just click on those dots and it says notifications. Click on notifications and you'll be notified every time I come on and do another update. Alrighty, bye-bye.